That's not what I wanted.
And yes, we are live.
Welcome back as we're talking Geek Squad, Daisy Says No, and so much more. Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 7, Episode 10, Stolen. And of course, by we, I mean us three plus one, because Rachel Radner has returned, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Barbara.
Yo, I appreciate you, Rachel. I've decided that I will no longer have a beef with you, considering the emotional intensity of this week's episode.
All right, we can put our differences aside.
And I also think I'm way more likely to date Daisy now that she's gone through trauma. Trauma is always an aphrodisiac. It always is. It always is. It always is. So I hope you believe it too. Of course, Christian is in the chat. What's up, Christian?
Hello, everyone. Great to see you. And always good to see that, yes, Hubby Joe is in the chat. Said that it was nice to be off the grid for a few days because Rachel and Hubby Joe, as we mentioned earlier today on Marvel Movie Talk, is what passes for a world traveler in 2020. She left the state.
Whoa! She left the state.
I've been in 4 different states the past week, so I am definitely quarantining.
That's definitely a lot.
Just want to let everyone know too, I got tested for COVID before and got tested when I came back. So
yeah, right.
Yeah, you know, I think we should add little prison bars to your box on the split screen, just so everybody understands.
I don't trust her for anything, but that's okay. And of course, Katie's with us too. What's up, Katie?
Hey everyone, excited. This episode was a lot, so I'm ready to dive into it.
I need to know why you're the queen of feedback right now. What's going on in your room that has so much noise?
There's nothing going on in my room. Is it?
There's a little bit of a buzz. Yeah, I think when you're not talking, if you mute your mic, it won't sound as buzzy. There's like a backyard fly zapper sound, sort of like, you know. Over
I mean, I can hear it. I don't know where it's coming from. It might be from outside.
It's coming from in the house. Hey. Katie, get out!
Run, Katie, run! And of course, I'm Tehran. I will be hosting the show as we break down this week's episode, Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 7, Episode 10, Stolen. As such, we're going to talk about John Garrett. We're going to talk about if we like the character, if we like what's going down. Simmons' memory, of course, is very concerning right now. I'm sure we all have some theories on that. Afterlife, we get to see the afterlife, and I don't mean after death, but we do get to meet Daisy's mother, and Daisy has Mother's Day. That doesn't end so well because Malik pays a visit and is an anarchist. So basically, Antifa is on the building. Simmons is gone. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., our special game talking about what the agents should have done that they did not. Some news and gossip, some predictions, and more. Let's break down this episode with how each and every one of you thought overall about this week's episode. Rachel Radner, since you've been to 4 states and time space, let us know what you thought.
Okay, 2 thoughts really fast here. One, I loved James Paxton, who is Bill Paxton's son, in case anyone doesn't know. I loved seeing James Paxton as John Garrett. I thought he did a brilliant job. And who would be better than Bill's son to play him? I just thought it was a really great casting choice, and that James was just dead on with his portrayal of John Garrett, number 1. 2, I'm very upset that we have still not seen Fitz. Christian and I talked a lot about earlier on Marvel Talk, but basically I'm very upset whether he is dead or not. This is the last season that we will ever get of this show. Did not do a service to the fans by not having Ian in this in some capacity.
Yeah. Not having Fitz has been a thing. I wonder what's going to happen. Katie, what were your thoughts?
At first, I was not quite sure how to feel. I felt like for being one of the last 4 episodes, I felt it was a little bit too late to add things like we talked about last week. But then the end of the episode, I felt like we were full towards the finale. As soon as Daisy had her face off with Malik, or almost had her face off with Malik, I was like, we in the end game now.
We're getting there. Christian, what were your thoughts?
Well, unfortunately, I have the feeling as to why we're not seeing Fitz, and we talked about it last week. He did, but to Rachel's
Yeah.
point, we definitely could see him in a flashback, or here's a video message I left for you, Gemma. You know, anything, but just not seeing him at all. You'd think that he got another series, and he was too busy to do it. Except he didn't, because we would
He
have
did
read
not.
that. Yeah, it's not like, oh, he's the lead in the Game of Thrones prequel for HBO. We get why we don't see him, but none of that happened. And I think it's very cool that they had Bill Paxton's son, but it really felt like, well, what if when he was younger, John Garrett had been Stifler from American Pie? Because his take on the character was lost on me. It was very grating, and I'm like, wait, he grows up to be that guy? And you know what? He's just a younger version. But I do think it's very cool that that's who they cast. I just think that maybe they should have made him red for the part and definitely auditioned for it. But that's just me.
No, honestly, Christian, I'm going to say I agree with you. I thought it was a great casting, and then I saw the show, and I was like, "Geez, like, did we not take an acting class? What's going on?" No offense to him, but just the way the part was read, and there were several times where it was like, "Oh," like it was definitely very cartoony. And even the fight scene, if you notice, the fight scene wasn't done that great. Where May takes him down, and the kicks were just it's one of those.
Yeah.
So I wasn't a fan of as much as I am a fan of the concept. I wasn't a fan of the character and how it was done. I did really appreciate this episode. It went by fast. This is what I'm talking about. We're getting to the end zone. This should have been 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
They should have moved. There were 3 episodes in the season that just were unnecessary. This should have moved up. It was moving fast. It's one of those where the hour, I was like, where did it go? I'm so glad we got a lot of information. But at the same time, we didn't get any information because we didn't hear about Fitz. And I'm like, whoa, you need to tell us already. Like, it better be good. It better be the best reveal of what happened to Fitz. It better be very good. Right, Rachel?
Yes, I agree. And I don't want to just like, they are making it so obvious that that he's dead, right? That's even what Gemma is starting to believe. That's how they've kind of painted this picture that Fitz is dead. I'm with you, Tron. This better be the craziest reveal of, number one, why we did not see him, and 2, it better not be that he's dead, because they are prolonging this. If he was really dead, we should have been getting flashbacks all
definitely
leading up to his death. Not, oh, hey, he's not going to be in it at all. And then episode, 13, oh, yeah, here's his death scene. This is what happened. No. So if they do that, I will be very upset. I do like that they are kind of showing us that they're making us believe he is. And then the rug is going to be pulled from under us, and we're going to realize that is not what happened. But no, I'm with you there. And then Christian, I just want to go back to what you said about Stifler, because you made that joke earlier, and I laughed, and you said because of that you were going to use it again. And when you said it tonight, I didn't even remember at first that you had said it, and I laughed anyway. So just want to say that's a pretty funny joke that you got me laughing twice.
Well, I'm going to tell that joke every week from here on in, so
You should.
get ready for it. Every episode that has young John Garrett in there. And Daniel Drew makes the point. I mean, remember, he was a new recruit at this point.
Doesn't matter.
He's not a pledge for Sig Ep. You know, he's in S.H.I.E.L.D. And he goes off the rails a little bit, but this does not strike me.
Calculated character. When we saw him, he was cold, calculated. He was able to substantially fool S.H.I.E.L.D. for a long period of time. So that's what my problem was. That's what my problem was with this character. And it's not like, oh, this was 20 years before and he had a life-changing moment. No, this is 7 years later. He's just a doofus. Come on.
Yeah. Jerron, to your point, I do agree with you. I have a slightly different opinion, but I do agree with a lot of what you're saying. I think that there was kind of a hookiness to it. It did feel a little bit of a caricature, the way that it was being played, because I felt like they really, with James playing this character, I feel like they were just trying to play more homage to Bill and the way that he did it. But yeah, it did kind of come across like more of a cartoon. But to Daniel Drew's point, I believe his name was, I do agree that we would have seen a slightly more innocent guy at this point, but also I could not see Bill Paxton if we had taken this as Bill Paxton playing John Garrett, and we had gone back and they had used CGI to make him look younger. I don't think that Bill Paxton would have been playing it this like goofy. I think that he would have been playing it a little more like sinister even before his major turning point.
That's what I mean. But I will say two things. First of all, it looks like we might get a Ward sighting. What do you guys think?
I'm hoping.
Katie, what do you feel?
I hope so. Honestly, I mean, final 3 episodes, and we are seeing some of the old characters come back, and I feel like they are setting up for it, which would be it would do well with certain fans. I know Christian has other thoughts on it, but I know a lot of people who did really love that character. So bringing it full circle, people would be really excited. On a side note about the whole Bill Paxton thing, to echo off that, I didn't remember who the character was, and then you guys said Bill Paxton, and then suddenly I remembered what character they were talking about because I didn't know it was his son and it was a younger version of him until you guys mentioned it. So I agree. I was like, who the hell is this?
Don't worry. He didn't act like his son or a new version of it, so it doesn't matter. Christian, Ward sighting, yes or no?
Here's the thing. I hope not. There's never been a character that I've been more excited to see die twice. Because when Coulson kills him the first time, then he comes back as Hive, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. We finally got rid of the dead weight on this show, and then they bring him back. Now, if we do get him, it would stand to reason that it's a different actor, and we're getting a younger version of him. I'll tolerate that because I want to see him burn down his house with his family in it. Like I want to see like the dark stuff in his backstory. I don't actually want a real family to burn. It's TV. But
I don't know, Christian. You said that very seriously.
I didn't just spray gasoline on these boxes behind me before we started. So I don't know what you're talking about, Tehran.
Well, as Christian is in the evidence room of a police station, we will go on to discuss John Garrett as a character. Let's talk about John Garrett coming back. Let's let alone the acting and never mind the concept of who is playing him, but the storyline that involved him. What did you think of that, Katie?
It just seemed like another element again with the last 4 episodes. I can't really decide how I feel on it.
I thought there was only 2 episodes left. How many episodes are we getting?
So there's 3 hours left. But
yeah.
There's 1 hour that's airing next week, and then 2 weeks because they said in the commercial they said only 1 episode left until the explosive finale, which means that they're doing a 2-hour series finale. So we're doing 2 more of these shows, but we'll be talking about 2 hours in the last one, and then we will never have to talk to each other ever again. We're gonna It'll be like after college, like, oh, come on, we're still gonna hang out. Sure, I'll see you in the summer, and then no, we're all gonna move to different towns. We'll be fine.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness. But I do hope I get to talk to your hubby. But you're gone.
Oh, hubby Joe, yeah, exactly.
I can arrange that if you want to talk.
Please.
Yeah. Yes, hubby Joe. I know you're listening. He's out on the patio right now.
He's in the chat.
He'll probably say something in the chat, but. Yeah, I hear him laughing. So in any case,
John Garrett.
All I want to say is that I do like that they brought John Garrett back in because I like the fact that we are seeing, characters that we haven't seen in seasons come back. However, I would have preferred to have Ward back as a kid. Or, because at this point I don't even know how old Ward is technically. At this point, he probably would have been really little. But if we had gone into the future a little bit more and seen the Ward that we got in the earlier part of the show, I think it was either season 1 or season 2 where we got the flashbacks and learned about Ward as a teenager. I wish that we would have gone forward in time to that point a little bit more, got in Ward, and kind of like what we're seeing with Jiaying, where we're seeing what she could have been and maybe another version of her who does not go down the dark path. I would have preferred if they had done that with Ward, because one of the issues I always had with the show is that I really did like Ward as a character. And they did kind of show certain things about him that made me more sympathetic with Ward, even though he obviously did things that were not redeemable, like pushing Fitz and Simmons into the ocean. Yes, not redeemable. But I wish that they would have brought him in as a teen and kind of saved him from going down that path. And then they could have included John Garrett when he was more evil and not this, little comic dude that we're dealing with now. But I think I wish that that's what they would have done instead of what they're doing with John Garrett now.
Interesting. I don't know. Christian, what were your thoughts?
I think that there are plenty of other characters that I'm more interested in seeing than Ward or John Garrett. I would definitely like to see Hunter and Bobby. Just one last cameo from Nick Fury. Come on, he's only been on one time in the whole run of the show. So it would be cool to get something like that. I mean, we've had Maria Hill, I think, a couple times. It would be cool if we got one last thing like that, just some kind of recognition. But I don't know. I think that I like that they're looking back on the history of the show, even when it's parts of the history that aren't my favorite. But if we see Ada, I'm probably going to have to pause it, walk away, go outside and cool down for 10 minutes, because it's going to be really hard for me to watch Ada on this show if she comes back.
No, she's someone I do not want to see. Maria Hill, I doubt we're going to get the actress who plays her.
Because she's busy living in Stumptown.
Yep, which is another show that I covered. So,
but it is an ABC show, so maybe she was on the same lot one day.
Maybe.
Katie?
Is it still about the character John? Or just talking about
Yes, we're talking about John. I know.
Yeah,
we're
it's just I wouldn't have been upset if they hadn't brought that character back. I'm kind of on the same with everybody else. I feel like there's other characters they could have brought back instead, being the final season.
Is there a logic flaw as to why we couldn't see Daniel Whitehall? Because we saw him as an old man at one point, right?
We did.
And we're dealing with time travel. And last I checked, Reed Diamond was looking for work. So I think maybe we'll still see him. Maybe that's a reveal, because logically, I think that character is much more interesting than Malik either. I feel like if we don't get him, that's going to be a disappointment.
They should have brought Fitz's dad into this. He was interesting.
I agree with that. Yeah, I would like to see Fitz's dad. Yeah.
So and Bobby and Hunter, I just want to say, at least with them. Now, first of all, for anyone who doesn't remember this, who's watching, Bobby and Hunter were supposed to get a spinoff show that got canceled, number one. But number two, I'm okay if we don't see them again, because we have, when they were kind of leaving, they did get this really big spies goodbye scene. And I felt like it was very closed, and that we had ended that chapter. I would be happy if we did get them, but I won't care if we don't, because I feel like we were able to, we ended on a positive note with them, and we knew they were going to be together.
Yeah, this isn't about Bobby and Hunter. So let me bring it back to John Garrett. Okay, let me bring it back to John Garrett. And thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Rachel Radner.
Oh, you're welcome, Barbara.
Listen, here's the concept.
I don't know.
John
Hayward
Garrett,
Wong wants to see Bobby, by the way. Let me just drag that in there.
Listen.
And also, Hayward Wong is apparently a Kathy Kelly guy. I think we said that.
Everyone would love to see Bobby and Hunter. Let's be honest, okay? So we aren't talking about a Burt Ward cameo. No, we're not, Jacob, because Christian is a hater. I wouldn't mind it. I actually liked Ward. I just didn't like how he was always trying to get my girl, but Ward was fine.
That would be my problem, is that I shipped Daisy and Ward. but I think I ship Daisy and Daniel more.
Well, let me explain.
What about Lincoln?
I didn't ship them as much, but it would be cool to see.
Okay, just
Katie,
Yeah.
I'm just saying did you not blame either because of that same reason?
Rachel, how can you ship Daisy and Ward and not Daisy and Tehran? Can we talk about that?
Yeah, what's the
Can we
difference?
talk about how absurd that is?
I ship you and Chloe, but I want to see I mean, okay, here's the thing. In all fairness, I could totally see you with Daisy. I said it, but
Okay,
you're not on the show.
Whoa.
It's on my screen right now. That's the same difference.
Thank you, Christian. We are all in the time stream. Did you not check the time screen? We are all part of the time stream. So here's my thing with John Garrett. I didn't mind the storyline. I didn't mind it at all, regardless of how it was played. I did not like how he was underutilized power-wise or as a character. If we're going through the trouble of saying we are these anarchists and this is what we do and we steal people's powers easily, by the way, which is something where why is this becoming a thing now? Why haven't we been stealing people's powers? And how do they retain their powers? And all we're doing is getting blood transfusions. I need it. And if it's a process that hurts, how come everyone just goes, oh, that hurt. Oh, look how powerful I am. Those are the things that I didn't like. The stakes aren't high enough. I need there to be stakes. I need there to be stakes, and constantly this season, I feel like the stakes have been let down. Even the way Daisy's mom was murdered, which we're going to talk about, was just not high enough. So with John, I want him to, if he has this amazing power, I want him to take some time to learn how to use it. And then when he does use it, it's flawed. Not, oh, it's on the third try. Look at where we are. I want it to be something. Like, I need a little more out of this. That's why. And we would have gotten that if we hadn't wasted 3 episodes on pointless storylines for film noir and sing-alongs and things that we're doing. So that's the only...
on the second try to be able to teleport another person. I mean, it took Nightcrawler years to figure out how to teleport with another person. And the fact that like on try 2,
ended up in a wall. They ended up in walls. Let's not forget the time. That's why he felt so guilty. So
if you're giving John Garrett powers, why is it that power? He should have powers like Cora.
Yeah. Of all things that John Garrett should be able to do, probably teleporting with that guy's just waiting for a sexual harassment lawsuit. So let's talk about let's talk about the concepts of Daisy's mother, because we're going to talk about Afterlife and Simmons' memory, but Daisy's mother played a huge part. Jiang played a huge part in this episode, and then of course met an untimely death. So Christian, why? Like, why do this to us?
Well, Rachel and I share the theory that due to the nature of Jiang's power, that she's not dead. It's to keep it out of this universe, to mention the X-Men again. It's like Wolverine. Yes, you can kill him. You let him lay there, he's going to get back up. So they, I think, chose very wisely to have her neck broken. She got chopped up, and I don't even remember what season that was. So I think we're going to see her again. And I think, what's that?
I think it was season 2.
Yeah, and we have the and I think we had the reaction out of Daisy where I personally was expecting more when Malik says to her, like, this is how you do a quake, and then we see everything starting to shake after he has killed her mom. I thought she was going to bring the lighthouse down on him. And I'm like, yeah, this is our destroyer of worlds. We know what she can do. Show us what you can do, Daisy. Hit us with your best shot.
Hit us with your best shot.
Exactly.
And nothing. And then nothing. Now, I was also, once again, the stakes were not high enough. Katie, what did you think?
Yeah, it was also very quickly done. I mean, this whole episode felt a little rushed. And I feel like that's why the stakes weren't high enough. That's why she met this demise so quickly, is they just had to escalate it because we're 4 episodes before the finale. So just time management, pun intended, I guess, for this particular season. It's almost like, you know how in previous seasons they would do a winter finale and then the season finale, and they'd be these 2 separate storylines. And I feel like that's kind of what happened this season, but it shouldn't have been like that because there was only 13 episodes. So I at first I didn't think she was dead, but then when you saw him carrying her body back in, they really want you to think she is, but it just did not seem like it should be that easy either to kill her.
Rachel.
Yes. So I agree with everything you are all saying, but I do want to point out something that I loved about this with Jiang. I loved the way that Daisy and Jiang were talking with each other, and that Jiang did not know the truth until Nathaniel pointed it out. And he even references Dallas and was like, "Oh, this is such a Dallas moment." But like the way that they wrote that in, and the way that the reveal came out, and the look on Jiang's face when she saw, "Oh, this is my daughter," I thought that played out very poetically, and it really like brought out all of these emotions, and I thought it was beautiful. Like Christian was saying, I don't think Jiang is dead. This is a woman who has been chopped up and survived. If she is dead, then it was just too easy for her to be killed. I get it. I get that Nathaniel has the same powers as Quake. So theoretically, yes, like he is a strong, powerful Inhuman who could do this, but I just don't believe he could do this to Jiang, number one. Number two, as we've all been saying, the stakes are not high enough. And for him to just, kill her that quickly, if they were going to bring her back in and finish unsaid moments, we didn't get to see all of that fully realized. And so for that, if she is dead, I will feel very unfulfilled. I was guessing that she wasn't, because because of the fact that she's been cut up and survived that, and this was just a snap of her neck. But then I watched the preview for next week, and Daisy seems awfully pissed off at Cora, like beyond the point of like pissed off enough where it does seem like they did kill off Jiang. So I hope not, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, Jiang's power is simply to absorb the life force. So basically, Jiang and J-Lo have the exact same power, where they absorb the life force of other people, and then.
But Jiang has much better taste in men because she took Kyle MacLachlan instead of A-Rod.
That's the thing. That's a concept. I'll give you that. I mean, she was with Calvin Johnson, and I wanted more because I really started to like that character. So for us to not get anything from that character, and then Daisy's response, which was looked like it was going to be powerful, was like everything's shaking, lights are flickering, and then nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You could barely quake a glass of water a second ago. Now this power buildup, we're like, whoa.
Because you're getting pissed off Daisy. So she's seen a lot of stuff, and finally her uncontrollability of her powers, aka a destroyer of worlds, because we still don't know that she's not going to be the destroyer of worlds. So I think it all just came up to the surface all at once, and it's just hitting her like a ton of bricks.
I get it. Then something should have happened. It should have exploded.
Yes.
She got power blue balls.
Also, May interfered. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But also,
May interfering should not have stopped the buildup of a supernova about to happen. That's all I'm saying. Don't show that if that's not the case. Just have her cry. Have her cry uncontrollably. We would have, or if it built up like one destroyer, like it missed and she hit May instead accidentally, I would have bought that.
And that was
I was ready. I was hyped. I was like on the edge of my seat, like, oh, what's gonna happen? So I totally get what you're saying, because I was a little like, where's it going? Where's it going? And then I'm like, we're gonna get it in 2 weeks.
Exactly. Hopefully we get to see more of Quake using her actual powers instead of just building up to nothing. I love the mother character. Hopefully that's not the end of her. Let's talk about Afterlife. What's up with that place, right? Like, what's up with Afterlife? So the concept is, and I quote this from Jiang in season 2 when she's talking to Sky. I built this community in the middle of nowhere so we would be left in peace. Yet S.H.I.E.L.D. found us. No matter where we go or what we do, they will hunt us down. If we are to survive, S.H.I.E.L.D. must be destroyed. What are you planning? I'm planning for our future, your future. That was that concept where, because we got that feel when Daisy's like, I've been hurt, and it was by her, and it was a great conversation. I love that interaction. But Afterlife itself was the easiest place on the planet to find, and we just tie people up, and you have superpower. Why is no one using their superpower? Katie.
Last week, Christian mentioned how he hopes they don't have a whole bunch of people that have to wrap up everything in 5 minutes and have everybody be in limbo or purgatory. And I feel like I'm worried that is the rabbit hole that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. going to come to, is that there's all these little things that we're trying to fit into the season, and you're not possibly going to wrap it all up. And
You could have if you didn't waste 3 or more episodes.
Yes, correct. And it's just, again, there's just so many things that I want them to work out, and I want so much. I expect so much, but also I'm worried, and I'm hoping that it's all not for nothing. That's just the main thing for me. Is
that
it's a slippery slope.
That 2-hour finale better be another Marvel movie. That's all I'm saying. It better be the Snyder Cut. It better be the Snyder Cut. Christian, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that Katie's definitely right. I mean, look, this is the same network, so maybe every long-running series has to have a disappointing finale, and that's just what ABC does, and we just all have to be ready for it. But I have high hopes.
What are you referring to? What shows are you allegedly referring to?
I would try to remember the name of any of them, but I lost my way trying to find it, so I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, don't call it out. You don't need to say the name.
No, I wouldn't call it out. And again, just like when this came up last week, I've never missed Ryan Moore, our producer, because there's nothing I like to do more than talk about how much I hate the Lost series finale, because he will bare knuckle box you in the street to defend the honor of Lost. But he's back in Philly. He doesn't care about us anymore. He's forgotten all of our names, and he forgot Tehran's name first.
I hope they're not pulling a Lost.
No. But anyway, sorry. So the actual answer is that I'm going to remain optimistic that they're going to satisfy us. It's fine if there are unanswered questions. I think when you try to answer everything, that's when you get into trouble. A great finale is one of those ones where you think about it, you're like, yeah, I enjoyed that. And then a while later, you're like, yeah, what about these 8 other things? It's fine if they don't get to all of it. That's where Katie's fan fiction about Lincoln will come into play, because clearly she's the only person who's mentioned Lincoln in 4 years. So I didn't even remember him until you said it.
I loved Lincoln. So
I mean, look,
I
can see the room you're sitting in. So obviously you want a guy who can turn on the lights.
Yeah, Lincoln never actually even was on the show. I just want everyone to know.
Here's the thing with Lincoln. I always think of him because I think of Daisy's moment with Hive. And the reason why that always sticks in my mind is because to me, it was obviously representing any kind of addiction, and being in a relationship with someone who is sober versus the person who is addicted to whatever it is. In that case, it was Hive. And so I just always, I always think of this relationship, and I think of Lincoln as being the straight man who really tried to help her, but he, obviously it was a battle she had to fight on her own with that. But yeah, no, I always think of Lincoln. And then in the framework, when Daisy went back in, she literally, right before the reveal that she was dating Ward, she literally thought that she was about to see Lincoln. If you guys remember.
I've never heard of Lincoln before in my life. No one remembers that. Please stop thinking. No one has talked about Lincoln more ever. Like, even when Lincoln was on the show, allegedly, that no one remembers, they still didn't talk about Lincoln. Can we please stop talking about Lincoln?
Tehran is so convinced that there was no Lincoln that he thinks a $5 bill is blank, that there's no face on a $5
There is no Lincoln. Please stop saying this. So Afterlife itself, what did you think about the Coulson being locked up? And of course, we had the whole situation where he's zapped out of there too. What were your thoughts on all of that, Christian?
I really expected a big Coulson LMD Chronocom moment that we didn't get. He gave us one of those. Hey, look, I'm gonna do, and then it's like, nope, bam, okay, I got you. Even though I'm dead, and now I'm really dead. I die. I'm deader than dead. So I expected a big Coulson moment, and in the same episode where I thought that Daisy was going to bring down the lighthouse, and we didn't get that either. It is often a reminder of, okay, so somebody from Disney came in with a clipboard and said, no, can't afford that, can't afford that, can't afford that. Daisy can shake a glass of water, but that's it. And I'll be in my trailer. So there's definitely some disappointing moments. I think that they also just this time around, in this season, Afterlife, I guess it's a different time period, it's a different era, but you'd think there'd be more people there and more people with powers, interesting powers that it would be cool to see. It's like, well, we're not going to pay extras either. We don't want people standing in the background. We're going to have like a key grip, a key grip and a couple of set PAs tied up in ropes so we don't have to pay them more than scale.
I don't know, Rachel?
My thing is, I'm going to say this. I do appreciate that they brought Afterlife back. It feels appropriate. But like Christian said, I wanted to see more people with powers. We literally have seen maybe 2 or 3 different types of powers that they've introduced. And it just doesn't feel as big as what they did in season 2 when we first saw Afterlife and first met Jiaying and everything they were doing with that. So it is a little bit of a disappointment. I understand this is the final season. Maybe they were working with a limited budget, but there were just some missed opportunities. My Agents of Should, which I'll say it again later, but my Agents of Should was going to be, why didn't they just like when they were in the chamber, and Coulson was like about to get them out? Why didn't they write it in that Coulson was going to get them out? I wanted to see the trick of how he was going to get around that door that was blocked, that they would not allow Inhumans to leave. Coulson is not an Inhuman. He had a way of opening that door, and it sounded like he did, and he sounded like he was going to get him out. And I felt like that was a lot of buildup, and then a twist that did not feel warranted.
So basically, you just took a really long time to say exactly what Christian said. Got it. Katie, what do you think?
Okay, Barbara.
Yeah, got it. Got it, Rachel Radner. Thank you.
For how interesting the last time it was that we saw the Afterlife, it was a little underwhelming for sure. In the sense that it didn't seem like they had much of a chance in this. It made everybody look kind of helpless. They looked like they didn't know how to defend themselves. It's like they lost their way. And so maybe it was disconnected from what we're used to seeing of them. But it was a little odd that we didn't see how much potential they had. They could really mess people up. But we don't know that they couldn't.
I just thought the Afterlife, I agree with Rachel. I agree with Christian. I agree with Katie. I thought the Afterlife, we should have a little more. I remember season 1 and 2. I was like, who's not an Inhuman? Remember, everyone was a mutant. Everyone had superpowers. And then everyone went through Terrigenesis. And then now it's like no one's a mutant. All of a sudden, no one has an extraordinary power. No one does anything. We had the knife guy. He made really intricate, expensive blades out of thin air. He would have been better off just selling those knives. Like literally, he would have been better off if you made the knives and you sold them, and that was what you did with that skill.
You can cut a tin can with it.
And he was just like, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you, Cora. I'm going to kill you before you actually turn into a bad guy. I'm just going to kill you. Why? Why? I felt like there was like an episode that I did not see. That's what I felt like. There was an episode that was missing, and I didn't see just episode like 5.3, where there were 0.3 things that were supposed to be in the episode from episode 5 that just didn't make it in, but they added it to the storyline. Why should we think John Garrett would come back? Why would we think Malik was just understanding the timeline the way he did? Why would we think these things? Why would Malik not be after Jiaying and go through all that trouble to make it look like he was after Jiaying? Is he punking them too? Like all these things that was the concept.
Well, I think, okay, in all fairness, I am just going to say with Nathaniel, I have understood his part of the journey from the moment that we've seen him. I didn't think he was after Jiaying from the beginning. I kind of knew it had something to do with Fitz and Gemma. And when John Garrett showed up at the base and said, "I'm not after you, little lady," or whatever he said to May, I was like, nah, yeah, he's waiting for Gemma. And like, he went into the lab and it's all about time. And oh yeah, Fitz is the one responsible for time, at least as far as they know. Now here's my problem though. If Sybil is so ahead of the game and something is up with Fitz, or, the fact that Gemma's not aware of what is going on with Fitz because she has that inhibitor chip. So wouldn't Sybil recognize this already and know from being in the future what she was up against, and that Gemma would not be able, well, I mean, obviously she would be able to help them if they take the chip out, but Nathaniel didn't even seem to know about that, at least not in this episode.
I agree. There's a lot. Deke's dead, right? Deke's gonna die. We're gonna see Deke die. I feel like it's just like every time they show Deke, it's just sad now. I just feel like they're going to kill Deke. They say little things, just little things happen with Deke, but I just feel like Deke is gonna die.
Yeah, for the South Park fans out there, he's the Butters of the team. Like, he's the one where you're like, really, Deke? Let me just throw in before we move on. Michael B. thinks Cora killed him just because he was an asshole. He knew he would get in the way. I think she's working a long game herself. I think it would be interesting if Cora is a little bit more calculating than even Nathaniel's giving her credit for. And I mean, the commercial for next week gives a little bit of an indication that we could see big things from Cora.
Yeah, I mean, I like Cora. I like Cora's character. So let's talk Cora. What do you all think about Cora, Katie?
I'm intrigued. Obviously, we know there's some stuff going on there that we didn't know about, Daisy. There's going to be this whole big thing, obviously, between her and Daisy, considering that, Daisy and her mom and all that. I just feel like I wish we'd seen it sooner. Same with some other stuff. Because now we have a whole bunch of backstory and a lot of catching up to do between Daisy and her. And lots of stuff. And they're going to have a scene. It's just too much too late. Like, but she's pretty awesome. I'm really digging her ability and all that. I just hope we get to see a really epic fight, possibly between Daisy and her. So.
I mean, that's exactly what I would want. I think that it's going to be a missed opportunity if we don't get Cora versus Daisy. And Tehran, I mean, it's let me just put it out there. If they want to settle their differences with some good old fashioned mud wrestling, that'll be fine too. I mean, look, I'll watch it so you ladies don't have to. I'll tell you how it goes.
I have a theory. If they use some Summers magic where Cora and Daisy's powers do not work on each other, they are sisters, and that is a thing. We have seen that before between the Summers family. Cyclops and Havoc and their third brother, they could not use their powers on one another.
Yeah. That's it. I do like that theory. That would make for an even better fight, because it's like, I'm gonna have to fight you the old-fashioned way with kicking.
Exactly. I see that, because that's how you save money.
I think from the previews that isn't going to be the case. But my thing is, I'm a little bit annoyed by Cora. Her turn, like I understood why she would turn and go on, be working with Nathaniel, but I don't like what we're seeing in the previews, which is that now I want to be an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah, okay, right. Said no one. Like that is not. I don't buy it. I don't believe that she's just going to make that switch. Like I think she's going to end up hurting them. And not that they're going to believe her, because you can see from the previews that Daisy doesn't buy it either. But I think that what my guess is that Cora is going to end up betraying them. Maybe in the end, like at the very last minute of her life before she dies, she might do the right thing. But I don't see her being someone who's going to be on their side, like truly on their side until the very end.
I don't know, Christian?
Yeah, I think that that moment with Cora in the commercial is definitely well. It kind of reminds me of a cutaway from Family Guy, where basically it's like how many times people have to say the name of the movie or to say, "Well, I want to be an agent of Shield." But I also think that she's probably playing them in some way, and it just looks more interesting in the trailer. I think that she is I mean, because of the amount of power she can generate, I think she's somebody that a lot of people are underestimating, and I'm not going to be one of them. I'm ready to see what she can do. I'm ready to see her take down Malik. I'm ready to see her go after Sybil. And I expect very big things from Cora in the next couple weeks.
Katie, talk.
I mean, I kind of
Cora.
already
know, but I
mentioned it, although
I want to know this because fighting. Who wins? Cora, Quake. Think about it. Think about it.
You will be mad if you don't say Quake.
I mean, I love Quake. Obviously, I want her to mess some
Doesn't
stuff
sound
up,
like you think
but
it'll be Quake.
no, I do. I want to see her at her fullest potential and let's finally see what she is capable of, because they keep mentioning and calling her, this destroyer of worlds. We've seen Chloe be a badass, and I want so much to see her get that glory again. Because I mean, I love her, so I don't want to see somebody who we just met kick her ass. It's going to be interesting. If it depends on if they have like hand-to-hand combat or their powers.
So my thing is, what I would love to see with Daisy is that she reaches this point in her ability where she can, one, beat Cora, but number two, do it without quaking the entire world. So in other words, she can now control her powers so well that she can, give full force without damaging, their planet.
By the way, she's also been controlling her powers very good for the last 5 seasons. So,
well, yeah, but we go back to season 5, and that was the whole thing, is that she was going to get so angry that she was going to, quit the world. So I would like to see her reach a point where she can get that angry without causing damage.
I mean, I don't know how much more angry you can get than someone just randomly killing your mom after you reconnect.
But that's the point, is that she would get angry and she would be able to channel it.
I think if and maybe if it's just her perception of what happens, if she either sees it actually happen or thinks that Gemma was killed, I think that she would react even worse than she did to her mother, just because.
I agree.
So I think that that's something we could see. And look, that could be the old sleight of hand. We're all like, well, Fitz is dead. Fitz is dead. Fitz is dead. Oh, no, Fitz isn't dead, but now Gemma is, because we have to keep them apart, because it wouldn't be Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. if they had a happily ever after.
Oh, that's a great call. We'll see how that plays. I also think there might be a showdown between Malik and Quake, which we'll be building up to.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Malik and his visit on the lighthouse. What were your thoughts on that, Christian?
I think that, we've watched the character evolve, and we have the ability to, because we jumped, I don't remember how many years it was, but, we jumped a couple of times. So we got to see him a little bit more, he's more organized, and obviously Sybil is the one pulling the strings. But I do find him to be a more interesting character than when we met him. There can definitely be a very disappointing resolution to him where we don't get a good payoff. I think an epic battle between him and Quake is definitely what we all need. And, I think that just watching him and, going into the lighthouse and, what his real objective was, and with, the party boy version of Malik teleporting into walls and stuff, all that notwithstanding, he's very focused. He's on mission, And I think that Sybil chose wisely in helping him out. But I don't know. I want a good payoff. I think they're doing a good job of building him up, and I just don't. I just want them to have it all end in a way that makes sense.
Katie.
I agree with Christian in the sense that, earlier in the show we did talk about how we didn't really know how we felt about him as a villain. I do feel like in this episode we got to see him live up more to a potential we didn't know he had, and I definitely changed my mind about him as well. He definitely had a more sinister, creepy vibe than he had the first time. He was creepy before, but you definitely got to see him grow, and a part of it is maybe, I don't know if they originally planned on having him be in the finale or not. I would assume they had to have it all written, planned before. But it almost kind of felt like maybe they realized he was going to be better than they originally anticipated, so they added more of him in later. Because at first we didn't really get that vibe that he was going to be a major player in the end game. So, but I do really appreciate his scenes now, and I was so excited that we were going to get to see him face off with Quake. And then we did it. So they damn well better have a scene like that in the next three episodes.
Going to destroy their world, right, Rachel?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm Tehran, you've said a couple of times that they wasted time this season with episodes that we didn't need. And that's the problem now, is that I feel like it's going to be very hard for them to pull off a fulfilling resolution, especially with Malik. But to go off of what Katie said, I do agree in the sense with the fact that at first, we would not have thought this would be our main villain. I kind of think that I like that he did end up becoming the main villain, though. I'm happy with that choice. We just spent so much time focusing on other things, or having like fluff episodes, and I feel like this season we couldn't afford that, and so I'm really worried, to be honest, with these last 3 episodes.
Right? It better be a great 2-hour finale. Not that we haven't liked this season. Once again, I want everyone to know we love this season. If this wasn't the final season, that's the problem, is that this is the final season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We will no longer be having Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. after this season. Yes. So that's why we're asking for so much. And that's why we're asking to know what's going on with Fitz. Let's talk some Simmons. Simmons' memory. Simmons gets taken. Simmons, and yet not enough Simmons. What did you think about that, Rachel?
Okay, so first of all, I love the fact that Deke is on that Zephyr. And if we do get to see Fitz, it will be a family reunion.
Yeah.
Now, that's what I'm hoping happens. I'm hoping that they did this for a reason, that what they're going to do, I'm going to just take a wild guess and say that we're not getting Fitz next episode either, but that what they're going to do is maybe as all of this comes out with Nathan, that Fitz might be dead, and they pull the inhibitor and we find out the truth. I have a feeling that, obviously they're going to see that Deke is there, and that they're going to somehow use Deke in all of this. And I really think that Deke is going to be the one that saves the day, whether Fitz comes back or not. I feel like Deke is going to step up into the Fitz role and figure out a way to save Gemma and get them out of this situation.
Okay, Katie, you're going to have to fill up the rest of that thought. What are your thoughts on Simmons?
A part of me, the question I was asking myself when she got taken was, did she know that this would happen? That's the whole reason that they put the inhibitor in her brain to begin with, is that they knew she would get taken and that would have to question her. So that's kind of what direction I was thinking they might be going, and not so much that they knew they're going to try to find out where Fitz is, and this is the reason why you need this. But without someone else there, because, rest in peace, is it going to go the way they planned? She's on her own unless Deke can also know what's going on and help. But Deke is definitely going to play a major role in what is to come, because he wouldn't be, at least I would hope that he would not be on that for no reason, because that would be a big mistake on their part.
Christian.
Well, he was just there so that we could see those the fuzzy earphones from a 1980s Walkman. I think that was the main reason he was there. Let's see. Michael B says, I think Deke is going to do a Rachel Summers and switch with Fitz since he's out of time too. Then Fitz and Gemma would be free to have the Diana and Deke to be born later. I still feel very confident that Deke is likely to sacrifice himself for the greater good. He's going to pull an Enoch and sacrifice himself. Michael continues his thought. He's referencing the X-Men the animated series. Fitz is somehow the axis of time, but it was a one-way ticket. So maybe he's kind of trapped and lost in time forever. I think that we're going to see something from Deke where everybody who treated him like he was a trifle, that he shouldn't be taken seriously, I think he's going to come through big, but I think he's going to pay the ultimate price, and he's going to go up to that great big Zima brewery in the sky. No pun intended for Sky being Daisy's name. Until I said it out loud, I didn't even think about that.
With lemons.
With lemons.
Right. Well, I think we have pretty much everything going on with this episode. Any last thoughts before we go to Agents of Should? Go round robin. Christian, Katie, Rachel, any last thoughts to sum up everything?
I mean, I am enjoying this season. I think that they've definitely gotten bogged down in some of the little side journeys. Unlike Tehran, I've enjoyed a few of them, though. Like the all black and white episode was unnecessary.
We know you love film noir.
Yeah.
We love,
and I love the 80s. I love the 80s episode too.
The 80s was actually I think that was a poignant episode. I don't think that episode. I think that episode's going to play in a way that we don't understand. Even the agents have kind of come back. So I don't think that wasn't an episode that we didn't need. I'm talking about time loop episode was kind of one we didn't need.
Time loop episodes can always be skipped.
Film noir, and there was another episode there that I just felt like we didn't need so much.
I love film noir so much that I don't even care. That can stay.
My final thoughts is because we just Fitz. I'm still upset, and I don't anticipate I'm not going to be upset next week if we still don't see him. We've gone majority of the show in general without Fitz. There's always been a moment in a season where we don't have Fitz, and we've never really gotten to appreciate Fitzsimmons together, and we're still not. We got a little bit of it last season, and I just wish there was more Fitzsimmons.
Hubby Joe has a very important final thought. I tried to talk to you, Tehran, at the studio, and you walked away from me. See, Hubby Joe, he reached out to you.
About this too. Apparently, he was in as a guest one day, and Tehran, you snubbed him.
I snubbed him. He was a guest.
No, he was a guest, not on the show, on Restless Rap for The Young and the Restless, the soap.
Sure. And then what happened?
And he went over and he said hi to you. I was right there, and you literally ignored him.
Did I ignore him as in I didn't pay attention to him, or I ignored him like I was like, hey, what's up? And then went back to doing something.
You said nothing. You saw him and turned away.
That means that I had no idea he was speaking to me. That's like I had no idea he was speaking to me.
He's like, that Tehran guy didn't like me, did he?
No, that's not true at all, actually. That's not true at all. Hubby Joe, next time. I promise. I didn't know. It's a thing. Some random guy comes up and says hi. It's in the like when you wave and you think and then they're waving at someone else. I don't know. I have no record.
Waved right at you, and you look like.
Well, that's my Agents of Should. Tehran, you should have said hi to Hubby Joe.
Let's play Agents of Should. Let's do Agents of Should. Besides me saying hi to Hubby Joe, which I definitely will next time. Rachel, what do you think Agents of Should? You had one in the episode we just talked about, so let's summarize that. Which one is that?
Okay, so Gordon should have just allowed Coulson to try what he was going to try in that chamber. And I know we mentioned it, but I want to say it again. That's my Agents of Should.
I get it. Katie.
I just think that they should have scrapped some of the added material that they still added to this episode to get onto the meat of the finale and focus on the stuff that they've been working on, because it was just too much this late in the season.
Christian.
Yeah, it was like when you watch a Blu-ray with the deleted scenes in there, and you go like, oh yeah, this is what they should have cut out. I agree with that. I said it before, I'll say it again. It should have been Daisy with the San Francisco earthquake of 1903. Like she should have just really let loose, and we would have never seen Malik again if she had done that.
Which, by the way, would have been a thing, and they could have explained like a California quake that was like disruptive, and been like, that's what that earthquake was.
Oh yeah, like if she had caused the Northridge earthquake, and I think it was 1994, that would have been that would have been amazing actually if they had done something like that.
Or like this morning when I was awoken at 4:30 a.m.
Yeah, that was Daisy. That was Daisy because Tehran had locked his keys out of the house, so she had to shake it open for him.
She did. Thank you, Daisy. I miss you. My agent of should is going to be first of all, if you have the guy who can teleport, why just teleport out of the door? Why not teleport back to the ship? It's the same amount of energy for you because you're folding space-time. That's the concept of that teleportation, right? That's number one. But utilizing Deke, number two. But number three, Yo-Yo, hello. Yo-Yo is a speedster now. Yo-Yo can do so much. All Yo-Yo did this whole episode was when Mac was about to call her, she showed up fast. Like, use that power to do so much more. Like, you are one of the most powerful people on the planet right now. That's all. Like, please, let's not underutilize these powers. Maybe they need a danger room to learn how they work together as a team or something. Let's discuss some news and gossip. News and gossip really quickly. We're not the only ones who are upset by Fitz's disappearance, actually. Cinema Blend sent me over an article regarding Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 7, why Fitz might be the key to everything. By the way, pointing out that if Fitz is dead, why was he on the poster for this season? That's all we're saying. We don't see poster of Ward on the season if he's gone from the season. So,
well, because they'd have to pay the actor, but they're already paying Ian, so they figured, let's put you on the poster. Because they wanted him to appear on the end of the series swag, so like he has like a jean jacket with that on the back. So
that's what I'm saying. There's got to be something, but you want to read the Cinema Blend. It basically breaks down everything we have all said and breaking down why people think Fitz is dead, not dead. It's all of our
Where did Cinema Blend come down on the Tehran and Daisy question? That's the
Actually, it's interesting. Cinema Blend says yes. So
okay,
I don't know why people would think otherwise. Don't forget the time that Daisy and I went out on a date. Can we never forget that? I have pictures to prove it. So
Can I say that as we were talking about this, I did a quick Google search, and Wikipedia claims that Fitz is not in the first 10 episodes of season 7 because he was filming another project. That Ian was filming another project. Just saying.
Was he doing the Game of Thrones prequel and I was wrong?
You know what? It's interesting. It might be because in the beginning that was not there. So if that's something that's now, maybe now because we're actually going to get Fitz in this series finale, that's why they allowed that news to be out.
Well, I don't know. There's an important revelation from the chat. Haywood Wong wants me to know that Tehran and Katie are DC heads.
Katie, are you from DC?
Yeah, I did Batwoman. I did Batwoman, the Batwoman show. Yeah.
So I've clearly made a mistake in getting to know either of you. I appreciate Haywood for letting me know.
Haywood, first of all, you're the Tekashi 6ix9ine of the chat. Okay, you're just snitching. Number two, I'd like to say that I am bipartisan. Okay, you can't put me in a box. They're not mutually exclusive.
Most people know that I'm very much a Marvel guy, but earlier this summer, I did read this for the first time in my life. I read all 12 issues, so I'm at least willing to dip my toe in. I just can't watch all those CW shows.
Haywood, make a comment.
I stand the Flash and Oliver McQueen, so
make some comments, Haywood. You threw Katie and I under the bus, buddy. I need a comment to flash.
Look what I have right here. Come on.
That comment to flash on that screen, okay? Oh, they're DC heads. Let's get into some predictions. Rachel.
Fitz will be back episode 11. I'm calling it now based on what I just read. Hopefully Wikipedia did not lie to me.
Wikipedia lies all the time. Katie.
This is not much predictions. This is honestly just what I hope happens because honestly, at this point, with how much is going on in the season, I don't know what to predict anymore. I just want them to do the fans and the show justice. It may not go the way we plan it, but I just want it to end well. And I don't want it to be one of those shows that you ruined in the last 2 episodes. I hate, but yeah, I hope Lacey gets next week, and I hope we get to see Deke truly shine and live up to the potential we know he has.
Yep, potential of dying. Christian.
My prediction is that when we get to the series finale, Rachel is going to look just like Kal-El right here.
Okay.
She's going to be crying the entire time.
Okay.
But that won't be Hubby Joe in a skirt dead in your arms. That part won't happen.
That will be my death for life because we don't see Fitz.
Yeah, I think that there's going to be a lot of tears. There's going to be a lot of death, a lot of heartbreak. And, I oddly enough, Robot Coulson will be the only one left standing.
I actually think Robot Coulson is one of the first to go, and May and Coulson will have that kiss, and it'll mean nothing. But is that how Hubby Joe felt when I didn't say hi back? Was that like a picture representation?
No, he was Kara. He was Supergirl. He dropped dead.
Oh,
so,
no.
Yeah.
Don't do
and that's
that
why Rachel had to pick him up.
Yeah. He was very hurt.
Oh, tell him I'm so sorry, and I love him very much, way more than his wife. So listen, here's the thing we're going to talk about. We're going to say these things. We're going to say things. Thank you, Megan Goodman. Thank you. So look, this is what we're going to say. Okay? We're going to say, number one, I think that Deke dies. I think they're building up to a Deke's death. Number two, I think that Fitz is alive, but he's changed in some way. And number three, I think that Simmons is already pregnant, and we haven't discussed it.
Yeah, I
think that
that's
on Marvel Talk this morning. Yeah,
I agree with you on that because I was wondering. I'm like, is she pregnant? Like, is that the one thing we're not getting on this?
Then it wouldn't matter if Fitz is dead or not.
Way to be emotional. Oh, he's a sperm donor. That's all he was.
No, I just meant that Deke would still, unless Deke dies of other causes, he's not gonna, if this is Back to the Future rules, which I don't think it is anyway, but if it is, it won't matter because there's already a daughter that's she's either pregnant or
it can't be those rules because here's the thing, unless Cheyenne comes back, Daisy's not born either.
Yeah.
This world has to get scrapped. This world can't go on. This world it's been too damaged. Too many things have been moved up. This world needs to not exist and everything needs to revert back to original, so that's going to happen. No, Haywood Wong, that's not the comment you make. You make, hey, Christian and Rachel are also traitors or whatever you called Katie and I, okay?
I love DC, so sorry.
I like the District of Columbia. That's about all I can say. So.
That's where I'm from. Guys, let's talk about it next week as we get into more Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Where can people find you if you want to be found? Let's start with Joe Hubby's wife.
You can potentially find me on my author Instagram account at Rachel Radner or over on Twitter at Rach Goodman.
That's what it is. Katie.
You can find me on all social media platforms, including late night streaming on Twitch at KT_Christine. And here next week.
Fun times, Christian.
And you can also find Rachel getting tested for coronavirus every 2 days because she's gone to 26 states since this show started.
And one of them was Florida. So
Yeah.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at ChristianDMZ. And here on this very same YouTube channel, the Blackcast YouTube channel, you can find our Marvel movie talk show. Last week, we did a special reacting to the New Mutants panel that told us almost nothing. And also earlier today, we kind of really dove into this season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. up to this episode with our friend Michael Shirley, who has hated this season and can't wait for the series to end. So if you want a differing viewpoint, check out our episode of Marvel Movie Talk right here on the Blackcast channel, BLADTCAST.
Well, find me all across the board at I Am Tehran. I'm literally I Am Tehran, IAMTEHRAN. You can and find Hubby Joe crying for the snub We will see you back next week right here. Same bat time, same bat channel. DC.
Well, it's literally same Blatt time, same Blatt channel. So
That's true.
And I better go console my husband.
So many tears between now and next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.